You just continue to press the same button like X, 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 and Y, 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 and X, X, and Y, Y, Y again, you'll be sucked.
Greetings and welcome to another optional extra Let's Talk. Well, today we're talking about the Konami situation and kind of like what their future's going to be, considering how abysmal it seems to be at the moment. So I'm Russell, and joining me is Mitchell.
Did I hear someone say "fuck Konami"?
Yeah, fuck Konami, because that's what everyone's saying right now. I think with Metal Gear Survive coming out to pretty dismal reviews. I think there's some that are like, yeah, it's definitely not good, and YouTube is like ripping the shit out of it.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. But I think some of the more critical reception of it are like, it's not super negative. I think it's more like, it isn't great for Metal Gear, but it is a playable game. There is something there that can be enjoyed.
Yeah, but it's still pretty bland survival that you wouldn't expect from Metal Gear to be a bland game when it's so out there all the time.
And that was kind of thing though. When Metal Gear Solid Survive was announced though, I think people did expect that. It was like, I feel like they're just reusing the franchise name to sell it.
That good old Fox engine.
Yeah, exactly. When there's nothing that compelling about Metal Gear Survive. It's just like, we're calling it Metal Gear just because we're literally using the same assets. Like, we have to call it Metal Gear, and it's a popular name.
It's a strong brand as well.
Yeah, it'll sell, yeah. But in terms of the game itself, I played the beta. After the beta, I'm like, no, I'm not going to play any more of this.
As a big Metal Gear Solid fan as well.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't appeal to anything I like about Metal Gear, other than, of course, literally what it ripped off Metal Gear Solid 5. And then I can't get excited for its story, which seems like it's one of the worst bits of the game anyway. And then on top of that, it's just isn't my cup of tea. Like, survival games aren't my thing. It's some people like that franchise. I think I will see type of game.
Genre?
Yeah, genre, yeah, is probably the better word. But I'm not the biggest fan. But I think some people have, and I think some people have enjoyed this game. It's like, it's not that bad. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of true. It's not that bad.
It could be worse.
It could be worse, but it does beg the question, what does Konami do going forward? Like, that's the problem they have. It's like, what do they do now that people don't trust them? But they have big franchises that people want more of. And it is that kind of awkward position.
Yeah,
like,
it's called one word, Pachinko.
Pachinko. And that's the thing, like, they are focusing on mobile games and Pachinko machines as a huge income flux. Like, they've caught on, like, what makes money. Like, everyone's catching on, like, loot crates make a lot of money, microtransactions. Like, it's all a huge cash flow. And Konami's like, well, yeah, we want that too. So,
we want the money.
Yeah, exactly. They want the money. And Pachinko obviously is, like, the most irritating thing as a Metal Gear fan is seeing, Metal Gear 3 HD.
Yeah, redone the cinematics and stuff. Just for a little machine.
Done. Yeah, I know. It's just like, god damn it. And then, because Castlevania, I've seen them doing that too. It's like, stop doing this shit.
We would like a new one.
Yeah,
don't keep turning into gambling. You're kind of alienating all your fans doing that around the world.
And that's the problem. It's like, does Konami give a shit? At all? It's hard to know at this point. It's like, are they just trying to bounce back, or is like, fuck it, we've got the negative press, let's just continue on that, route. Everyone hates us.
Is there much they can really do? Is the real question.
Yeah, well, for me, the way I think about it is, like, I think there's a way they can come back, because as much as people hate Konami and obviously all the stuff that had the Kojima controversy, I do think they can come back if they do what fans want. I think what fans want is, at the moment, just to show that Metal Gear Solid is still a viable brand. So, for Metal Gear, what I think they should do is do a remake. 1 would be the most ideal, to remake 1 using the Fox engine, but I think realistically, they would do 3, and the reason is they've already done the HD cutscenes for the Pachinko machine.
It's true, cut down a bit of time, gets it out fast.
They've already remodeled and they already look good. So they could re-release Metal Gear Solid 3 in the Fox engine, so it'll play like a new Metal Gear game, look like a new Metal Gear game, be a classic Metal Gear game that people already love, with a story that was critically received as opposed to Metal Gear Solid 5, which obviously had heaps of controversy around the story. But I think the other thing they really need to do is bring David Hayter back as like a Kojima. For whatever reason, I think it's because he got obsessed with having like movie.
Yeah, he wanted the celebrities and stuff, so he went for Kiefer Sutherland. He's like, well, he's like the real big boss.
Yeah, and that's why I think it was. It was like he wanted celebrities in his games like a TV show or a movie instead of just video game actors. Yeah, so I think that's
David Hayter.
So that's why he knocked David Hayter off. But I do think if Konami, and I think they will, I hope they will, do a remaster of one of their old games, they would bring Dave Hayter back as like a sign of we're doing this for the fans. We're bringing David Hayter back. We're remaking a game that you'll like because it's just a game you've already played before, but now it looks way better. And then they can move on from there.
All right, because all I was going to say was Metal Gear Solid, the original, you can't buy anywhere. Like, you can only get it on... You can't get it on any new system or any really old one because it's hard to find. It would be, I'd say, a good one to redo, but then the problem with that one is it's so old and different. Like, they've already done that with the Twin Snakes, the GameCube, where... I mean, there was another person's vision as well. But it's just you wonder how it translates with someone else, again, having another go at it.
It's still... A lot of it's still the same team, though. That's the thing.
True. I mean, a few went with Kojima, but not all of them.
And obviously, there is an unpleasantness there, especially when we have the Metal Gear Survive controversy this week, where... Well, not controversy, but a lot of people, fans like, yeah, screw Konami, with the eventual Mosquito letter, which was this letter in the start of Metal Gear Survive that was basically saying... Kojima Productions forever, Metal Gear Solid's dead now, and fuck the director and producer for this game. That's basically what it was. That was hidden in the game.
That's crafty.
It definitely was crafty to put it in there. But obviously people are like, yeah, that was a cool thing to do. But a lot of the team, there still is people from Kojima Productions there. There's still people who've worked on Metal Gear for a long time. And I think they're more than capable of remastering something they've already done. The question is, can they do a new Metal Gear game? I don't know about that. I really do think they've lost any visionary person like Kojima. Kojima was so integrated into Metal Gear that it's so hard to imagine a story without him doing it.
And I mean, the one where they did was Twin Snakes, which no one really likes.
Yeah, well, it's because they went so over-the-top anime with it. It was like, Metal Gear's already kind of over-the-top in a lot of ways.
They took it another step.
Yeah, it was just a bit too far. But yeah, that's why I see for Metal Gear. It's like, I think they need to remaster it first, get the good press back on their side by just doing something they've already done, just make it look way better. Do a Shadow of the Colossus, basically. And then work out what the next step is. Like, they probably need some new director, someone, to maybe a fresh new eyes to look into the Metal Gear series, or even just do something else. Drop Big Boss, drop Snake, drop all these characters, but keep it in the same universe or something. I mean, it's probably a bit of a contention, but at the same time, that might be the only direction they can go without huge backlash from fans.
Konami does have a few other good franchises under them, though.
Exactly. There are two other ones, one of which I think you're more passionate about, Mitch, Castlevania. Any ideas where that one could go?
Well, the thing is, I only ever finished Symphony of the Night, and I really do like Metroidvania as a genre, so I don't know, it's like, do they remaster the one everyone loves again? Because, like, it's always weird when they translate 2D games into, like, remade spaces. Yeah. Like, when I think of the best 2D platformer, like, the best looking one, I think Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Right, okay, yeah.
Because, like, that one did 3D, but didn't do it in a weird style. But it's like, do they follow the 3D God of War-esque versions? Or do they go to, like... They did do Castlevania 64. It's like... Ugh. And they did... And Metroid Prime did show that these games can work really well in a 3D space. So it's like, do they just go new Castlevania and, like, take a bit of Prime idea, but don't go first person? Or do they just remake Symphony of the Night or something like that?
I think with where Castlevania went with Lords of Shadows, I think the first one received well, the second one not so well. I think that was ultimately like where the plot took it, but at the same time, I think people probably want a 2D version of Castlevania. More, I mean, Bloodstained, literally the ex-director has gone across to do Bloodstained. Yep. So, it makes sense that like that's where they'll probably take it. I don't know if they'll do a remake of Symphony of the Night though. I think they could do something new, but it's still reminiscent of that game.
Yeah, a new Castlevania 2D game would be really cool to see.
Because they did re-release. It's not. I think it was a re-release, but it was like a reimagining of Bomberman for the Switch. And I remember that sold really well. I mean, it was a launch game for the Switch. So I think that helped it a lot. But I remember Konami saying afterwards that they're going to pursue remastering or bringing back old franchises. Now, I don't know if they count Castlevania. I mean, Castlevania's going to come back in some form because it's just a popular series in general. They might have been talking about more abstract games they've done, like Frogger or something. I mean, they had the Zone Enders VR game coming out, so it's possible that's what they meant. But at the same time, Castlevania, I think the best go off the bat would be to do a 2D form again, as opposed to pursuing a 3D one.
Yeah, I mean, that'll come out after Bloodstained, which we hope Bloodstain isn't a Mighty Number 9 returns.
Hopefully not. I mean, I have more faith. I think the visual style is that questionable edge again, where it's like, I don't know, this 2.5D.
Yeah, 2.5D. There's only some games do it right. Most do it wrong.
Yeah. But I'm hoping it will see. But you're right. There's entirely plausible that will be a Mighty Number 9 situation, which probably will put Konami off in general of doing a Castlevania game.
Very much so.
But I mean, the other big hitter is the one that I don't even know what they're going to do or when they're going to do something, and that's Silent Hills, which is a really iconic game series. Like, it's not a forgotten franchise. Like, there are a lot of popular entries in the series. My personal favorite being the second one, but the last thing not including PT, obviously, but the last game we got, I believe, was either Downfall or it was the Vita one, which was Book of Memories. And the Book of Memories was a Diablo clone. Like, it was just a hack and slash isometric like dungeon crawler thing, which that isn't Silent Hill. Silent Hill is all about like the psychosis and exploring the mind and just like dealing with your inner demons, which PT was going to be the game. PT looks so perfect. Like when Kojima was attached, Guillermo del Toro, Norm Reedus, like everything about that was like, yes, this is the Silent Hill game. This is going to be the rebirth that gets everyone super interested in the franchise again.
Our dreams die.
Dreams die. Everything just fell away.
The true calamity, the apocalypse.
And the thing is, if there is anything new Silent Hill related, and I think there will be, it's going to be directly compared to PT.
Always.
That game didn't exist, really, but it's still going to be compared to what PT was going to be. And I don't know, like, my hopes are that it's hard to know what Konami's, like, internal team's like, because everything's so, like, I guess hidden as a studio. Like, you don't know who the big directors are anymore. You don't know who, like, what the
team's
team's
Don't know anything about them.
Yeah, so it's hard to see if there's any visionary new directors at Konami still that are willing to like take up like the mantle of a Silent Hill and go, I've got a good idea, I've got a new, interesting area to explore that hasn't been done before in the Silent Hill games, and it's uniquely Silent Hill. Like the Book of Memories Vita game wasn't Silent Hill; it just was a copy and paste paint job, basically like Survive was. Like there didn't have that same level of atmosphere. Like I think the game itself actually wasn't that bad, but it wasn't Silent Hill. Is the problem?
Yeah.
But I think if they take a bit of PT, take a bit of some of the early Silent Hills, like Silent Hill 1 and 2, and give it that Resident Evil 7 treatment, where it's like, we're going to do we know people are used to stuff in Silent Hill, but we're going to do something different, and something unexpected, which I think is what PT was going to be. And that could reignite the flame. I
mean, just looking from the outside of these games, Resident Evil 7... probably took some ideas from PT.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think it did. Yeah, I think when they saw PT, we were like, man, we used to have like a lock on this genre, but this PT game looks like stuff we could do. I mean, it's possible they're already going that direction, but I think they doubled down when they saw PT.
I swear that would have influenced it heavily. It's like, okay, now we should definitely swap, because everyone wants a game like this, and we could probably do a good one.
Yeah, and it was a risk, like, from Capcom to do...
Oh, very. It's like, would there be backlash because it's not third person?
Yeah, and... no, I don't think anyone... I mean, at the time, I think there's probably a little bit of negatives, like, I don't know. But once it came out, I don't think anyone...
But it's always the case when you, like, see what a game looks like and how a game is are two different things.
Yeah.
For good or bad.
And I would not be surprised if Silent Hill, ironically, takes a Resident Evil clone. Like, it clones Resident Evil 7, which inherently was what PT was going to be, basically. So kind of become what that idea was. I think that might be the best idea for that series. But it's the one that I'm, like... the most curious about what they could do for it, because I fully expect they will at some point. You know, for the most part, Konami hasn't shown good faith. Like, there is one game I like from Konami though, that being the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on the iPhone, which it is a mobile game, but I personally really like it. I think they made really cool ideas, innovated and like compressed Yu-Gi-Oh! In such a like consumable way, where it's not just like it's just a more efficient version of Yu-Gi-Oh! That yes, it's got microtransactions, but I never feel forced to get microtransactions. Like, I haven't seen anything in the game, and I've got almost everything you can do in that game just by playing it all the time. Where other games like Hearthstone, for instance, where it's like, at this point, even if you play the game all the time, it is very, very hard to keep up with all the cards they release without spending real money.
It's not impossible, and I mean, that's kind of the point.
And that's basically the point. I think at a certain... before they started doing 3 big expansions a year, and it was more like you'd get these smaller ones and the bigger ones, I think it was almost possible if you played it all the time. But now it's like, I don't think it's possible. I think you have to spend money to actually get all the cards.
No. Well, I mean, that's evidence that Konami isn't totally evil, only mostly.
Yeah, and that's the thing I always think of. Like, Konami hierarchy, the top level, yeah, they're probably pretty dodgy. I mean, most people are in business. Like, if you're at the top, you've done some dodgy shit to get there. Almost always. But I gotta hope and imagine that there are still creative developers somewhere in the studio that are looking at these franchises and going, we can do something good with it. And something that will appeal to people that isn't just like a money cash grab like Survive feels like it is. And
yeah.
It is. But yeah, that's kind of what our thoughts are. Any like closing words, Mitchell and Konami?
Suikoden is dead.
So, yeah, that one. that game is almost certainly dead, yeah. I doubt that's going to come back. But you never know. Konami could just like, Contra, here we go, baby. Bring Contra back.
Contra's back. It's now a generic cover-based shooter.
It's like Gears, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if, we see a lot of remakes from Konami. Because I think for the most part, you just give us what we had before, and people are happy.
Yeah, keep them happy. Give them the old stuff. Makes money. Yeah. You know, Konami, we know you love money.
But thanks for our audience for listening to this. Let us know what you think. If Konami, fuck them. We don't care anymore. They should get shut down and all their IP should be sold off. Or is there still hope there? Can they still produce some kind of
need new hope.
Good content? Yeah, we need a new hope. Yeah. So yeah, let us know. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Wow.
Hideo, tonight it is finally time to give you one of these. You're one of the most deserving men to have one. You've always been there for me, and you have never disappointed me.